Hey, how's it going, folks? Welcome again to another edition of Boxing Chit. Josh here, along with Boz. How's it going, Boz?
Yeah, pretty well, pretty well. It's not been much of a summer here, but since July anyway. But yeah, what can you do? Can't ask for much more.
Yeah,
Yeah,
true. You can't. Oh, pull this up. Well, since it came up, we might as well jump into it. Get straight to it. The
nice.
big boys of boxing were in action last night. We saw
Hmm.
Anthony Joshua take on and defeat Robert Helenius via seventh round TKO, or no, seventh round KO. Actually, he actually took him out.
Yeah.
So with that, Anthony Joshua, of course, raised his stock a bit to show that hey, he is still ready in some capacity for what goes down here moving forward. And the talk has been Deontay Wilder. So I wanted to get your thoughts on the fight there, Boz. How Joshua
Hmm.
looked, and what do you think the prospect will be as far as him taking on Deontay Wilder?
Well, yeah. I mean, he looked pretty good. I mean, he did get tagged a few times by Helenius, but Helenius is not a bad fighter by any stretch of imagination. He's a tall guy, also actually slightly taller than Joshua. But yeah, I mean, it all went. It was pretty even. I mean, even though I think yeah, Joshua was ahead, I guess, but he wasn't really like really dominating the fight until that knockout. So that was one hell of a knockout, of course, very well set up by him, and nothing else to say. I mean, I'm glad Helenius wasn't really damaged by it. So yeah, it was a good knockout, really. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I thought it was inevitable that it was going to happen at some point. I felt that it was going to be a Deontay Wilder, or not Deontay, but Anthony Joshua knockout when it was all said
Mm.
and done. And I knew it would come, just didn't know exactly when. Now, Joshua, of course, he actually took some damage in the fight. He was bleeding and had a little bit of
Mm.
swelling. So Helenius was able to touch him up to a certain degree.
Mm.
And I thought that it would end a lot earlier than it did, but it ended up going seven. Now, Helenius, of course, was in shape. He was coming off of a fight the previous weekend, as I understand it. So, therefore, he was pretty fresh and active, and that
Yeah.
probably boosted things for him. So, I know he came in confident and he was just working it as best as he could until that opportunity came for him, or
Mm.
the opportunity came for Joshua at least. And when Joshua did
Yeah.
land, it was something huge. And as we know, it changed the dynamic completely. So Anthony Joshua back in that win column again. And it goes to show that, hey, he still has a little something left in there. Now, the way in which he went about the fight in itself, you could argue that
Hmm.
he wasn't as aggressive as he probably could have been. And
Yeah.
maybe this is because this was him kind of working, getting used to Derek James as his trainer and trying to kind of switch up things here at this stage of his career. And that can always be a challenge, I'd imagine. But at the end
Yeah.
of the day, he was able to get Helenius out of there in pretty impressive fashion as far as the overall knockout. But we can't deny that it was certainly expected. The expectations were that Joshua was going to win and knock Helenius out. And I think that the showing it itself makes it very interesting as it relates to what could potentially take place once Joshua actually takes on Deontay Wilder. I'm calling it here now. I tweeted this out. I said that I think it'll be a fun fight, of course, but I said that
Hmm.
I don't see it going past 2 rounds, and I'm picking Wilder in that contest. What are your
Yeah.
thoughts there, Joshua Wilder? As far as is that too aggressive? 2 rounds? Do you think Wilder could get him out of
Yeah.
there? Or could it be the other way around? Maybe Wilder brings out that dog in Joshua that we saw in the past, who when he went down, he got straight back
Yeah.
and started to slug it out.
Yeah, I think just of course, overall, I think Joshua is at least a little better still fighter as a fighter than Wilder. It's just that Wilder has that crazy right hand, power, and yeah, I don't know really. I don't think, of course, it will last the distance. Most likely, yeah, somebody will have to be knocked out sooner or later. But I think Joshua has a realistic chance anyway to beat Wilder to get him out of there. But yeah, it's just a matter of whether he gets tagged first, with the big right hand, or even a left hook. Who knows? I mean, yeah. So I think it's a rather kind of 60-40 fight in favor of Joshua. I think I would say I would call it. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
So
sixty
in the
forty.
terms of rounds, amount of rounds it will last, I don't know really, 4, 5, 6, something like that.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Yeah, I used to lean towards Joshua getting the victory, but now I've shifted. I think Deontay Wilder gets the victory. So I would see it 60-40 the other way around there just because of the fact that I
Right.
would want to see how Joshua responds to something big from Deontay Wilder. I think that's something that has been on his mind probably since going down at the hands of Andrew Ruiz, but he's bounced back from it to a certain degree. But that being said, yeah, it doesn't seem like that same level of confidence for Joshua as he previously had. And maybe in the back of his mind, he's thinking about that shot, that knockout, or whatever. But Deontay
Mm,
Wilder, if he lands something big, then we know that certainly he'll feel it. And his response, of course, will be the ultimate barometer as to where he stands. Now, it's
yeah.
possible, like you said, maybe he does charge back and land something huge, himself.
Yeah. I mean, Joshua was stopped once, but that wasn't really, he wasn't really knocked out. It was more like he kind of quit almost against Andy Ruiz, and I mean, uh, yeah, so his chin is rather good. If you remember the Klitschko fight, he took a lot of, punishment and he was down, but he came back to win. So I think, still, of course, it's Wilder. It's not the same thing, being hit by, even though Vladimir did hit pretty well, pretty hard as well, but still,
Yeah.
Wilder, as one guy that I talked to before said, he has generational power. Joshua has good power, rather great, but
Hmm.
Wilder has generational power. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's a good way of putting it for sure. Cheers. Salute to Rodolfo Rivera Jr. in here. Thank you for dropping by, Rodolfo, as always. Appreciate you tuning in. Additionally, cheers to Beagle as monitoring during gardening and pruning. Just good stuff there, Beagle. Appreciate you
Hmm.
being here, Beagle. As always, of course, we always love the dialogue and discussion. Thank you, buddy. And of course, shout out to Bruce Gas, Boxing Jazz, and more. Says, "What's up, guys? Was good with you, Bruce. Appreciate you being here as well, Bruce. As always, be sure to go check out Bruce's channel, Boxing Bruce Gas, Boxing Jazz, and more. You get a good deal of boxing, touches on some of the historic stuff and all of that. So be sure to
Hmm.
go give him a like and subscribe. You will enjoy. Trust me, you will enjoy. Bruce says Boz went 12 rounds yesterday. Boz went
I don't
12
know
rounds. Indeed, he had
what
to
you
pull out the
mean, but
shades.
yeah.
All day. And salute to Max Duran. Max Duran, he says, "Hey guys, appreciate you, Max. Good to see you back on here, buddy. Of course, always
No,
great
I was
dialoguing with you on the videos and all. So
maybe he's talking about, when I wanted to have a stream, but I had, my own yesterday, but I was so pissed about it because the Zone app first wasn't working. I
oh
was
yeah.
so pissed about that, so I just, shut off my stream after like 18 minutes. And then later that night, as after I had found a stream for those fights, it suddenly started working again.
Well,
So
okay.
funny.
Yeah, there was an issue with ESPN Plus last night for those trying
Wow.
to tune into the ESPN Plus card, at least a
Right.
good deal of
So
us. I know I could never get it popped up, so I started looking online and then chatting with some others. I know Bruce was in the mix there, and yeah, there was an issue with the feed
it's
because it wouldn't
weird,
pull up
man.
anything.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean it's weird. This summer, I mean, I had a problems in July with my HBO Max and Apple TV, and now suddenly it's working again. I don't know what happened, but like for
yeah,
3 4 weeks, it didn't work at all.
yeah. Some of the for a lot of people on ESPN, they missed a good deal of the contests
Yeah,
that were taking place.
I think they should give us our money back for that month
That's a
for
good
sure.
proposition right there. That it certainly
Yeah,
is. Certainly prorated or something. Give us something back for all the content that we were missing in the midst of that. So that
yeah,
would be a good thing. But yeah, so appreciate
sucks.
everyone being here. As mentioned, Boxing Shit, another edition, talking what happened this weekend. We were just discussing the Anthony Joshua versus Robert Helenius contest that actually took place. Now, of course,
No,
we know what happened in that fight, but also we can talk about some of the other fights that were on there. So the co-main was actually Derek Chisora versus Gerald
yeah,
Washington, and I must admit, I was actually scoring the fight at first, and then I kind of stopped. It's one of those fights that just, it was just a fight. Nobody really, no implications at the top of the heavyweight division in reality. But Derek Chisora was
yeah.
able to pull off a victory, and he's still chugging along.
I just don't know why they keep giving him this fight. I mean, it's not like Washington is a and like a prime contender or anything
Mhm.
elite level, but still, I mean, he's no bum either. I would say so. He, yeah, I don't know really who really won, and I don't care. It wasn't that much of a fight. I mean, I believe Chisora was down in the third round or something like at the end of it or something because but I didn't really follow carefully the whole fight, I must admit, because
Yeah.
yeah, they also for some reason on the zone they played that first Amanda Serrano Katie Taylor fight, and then they
Oh.
suddenly switched to Chisora and Washington. That
Mm.
was weird.
Yeah, maybe there was a pause in between, but yeah, it was the
It was a
co-main.
mistake, sure, yeah, probably a
Yeah,
mistake.
maybe something like that. But yeah, so Bruce Gas says the power streams were working just fine. Indeed, there, Bruce.
Yeah,
Beagle says with
mine
nights like
was
that, I'm glad
working
I have
fine.
cable and apps.
Mine was working fine. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I have the Zone and ESPN Plus, but this was like the ESPN Plus app in itself that wasn't working. So I had to actually go find a stream to be able to watch the ESPN fights because the app wasn't working. And I was looking on Twitter and all that stuff, and there were some other people
Yeah.
having the same issue. So it seemed like it was just the ESPN issue overall.
Yeah, it made
Um,
no sense. I mean, everything went fine before that, like until now. I mean, yeah, the zone.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, certainly. Max Duran says, I think AJ is going to get mauled by Wilder early. I can see that happening right there,
Maybe
Max. I can see that happening. What if he
I
come out
see.
blasting? It'll be interesting to see how Joshua responds. That's going to be an interesting fight right there.
Yeah, I mean, both guys are no longer in their prime. Of course, you cannot say that even but AJ is a little less far past it, I would say, than Wilder. When he's a little younger, also like 4 years, I believe, between them.
Hmm.
So yeah, Wilder has, of course, will always depend on that punch, of course, getting people out, and that's not really good when you approach this age. 38, 39.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Certainly, certainly. Beagle says Disney does sports equals ESPN app. That is right. It's like their little sideshow there. Beagle. They're really not sports people for sure.
yeah,
So yeah.
all these mergers. I'm not really crazy about that. The people
Yeah, yeah.
buying
No,
up.
I'm with you for
Yeah.
sure. Happened a lot there. Max
Yeah,
says,
you know.
"Loyal, I'm glad I have cable as well." Yeah, hey, cable. All these streaming services popped up. They were supposed to be the replacement to cable, but now there are so many streaming services, it makes you
Yeah,
want to get cable again.
yeah, of
Or it
course.
adds up to like paying for cable. So what happened to
These
cost cutting?
streaming services are, I mean, really good. I mean, when everything is well, it's better, right, than the cable. I mean, the picture, everything, like, But when it can easily go wrong. When it goes wrong, nothing. You got
Yeah,
nothing.
yeah, certainly, certainly. Salute to Joshua Woods in the house. Appreciate you dropping in, Joshua. Always great chatting with you, as you know.
Your namesake. Wow, look at
Yeah,
that. There's another
namesake there.
person.
All the Joshuas in the house tonight. So, but yeah, Joshua says so. AJ won by KO. Yep, he was able to pull off a seventh round knockout. Landed a
Hmm.
straight right that hit connected directly on the jaw of Helenius. He was kind of leaning back, thinking he was going to get away from it. Didn't work
Yeah,
out, and he went down timber like a
no
log,
good.
just like a tree falling in the woods, I guess you can say. And it was
He
over.
kind of he let his hand down to, like, I guess he was trying to get Joshua's I don't know, Joshua off him, but he left himself open, right,
Yeah,
exposed. You can
wide
see that
open.
on the, yeah,
Wide open.
boom.
So it was a good shot there. Joshua
Yeah,
definitely weren't worth checking out. Uh, Joshua says he thinks AJ beats Wilder though. Good, good, interesting one there, Joshua. I felt that way some years back, but at this stage, for some reason, I lean more towards Wilder. But I think it'll be a good fight. I hope we get it. They've been talking. Well, Eddie Hearns, he was saying that hey, that's what they're aiming for next. Wilder needs a fight. He had been rumored to be in out there as a potential opponent of Andrew Ruiz, but I haven't seen anything really come
yeah,
about with that. So Joshua Wilder, I think that's still a big fight. At one point, I actually thought it was going to be the biggest fight in boxing if it would have happened at the right time. But of course,
yeah.
the powers that be, something that was derailed in some sense. But still a good fight, though. I'm looking forward to it. But I lean more Wilder there, Joshua.
I mean, that was the guy that Joshua should have fought back then in 2019 instead of
Mhm.
Andy Ruiz, actually, but
Right.
I guess Eddie Hearn didn't feel like risking anything, so I don't know
That would have
who's
been a
fault.
good setup, especially
Yeah,
if they would have like say I would have even taken if they'd have like said, you know what, we'll postpone it back a week or two or whatever, or however
yeah,
long, and then put Joshua in there because, or put Wilder in there because Wilder he had to that point fought in Brooklyn a number of times, so he's still been there at Madison Square Garden in the arena. I think it would have did huge numbers.
yeah. I think their plan was probably to the Joshua fights Wilder after that fight, but then he lost, and then Wilder lost later, not that long, much longer after that to Fury, and that just crumbled all their plans,
Oh yeah,
collapsed.
yeah, yeah. Max Duran says Helenius is starting to get a glass chin. Yeah, I think he's at that point pretty much. At least when it comes to the big punchers, he had life sparked in him by virtue of defeating Adam Kanowski, and that kind of boosted him back up a bit. But Gerald Washington knocked out Helenius, and Gerald
Yeah,
Washington, as we saw yesterday, certainly is nothing to write home about
yeah.
from an overall standpoint. So I think that he's already there, Max. I think he already has sort of a chin that is very shaky.
Yeah, I mean, Konatsky was an accident waiting to happen. That's how I would call him. He was just waiting
Hmm.
to get exposed. He obviously had very poor defense, poor chin, and all that. Just
Yeah.
he was just a good offensive fighter. Kind of, yeah. So
Yeah,
that's
he,
it.
he left himself wide open, so it was going to happen. He was going to be knocked out, stopped by someone as he moved up. Just so happened it was Helenius had the
Yeah,
experience.
and he's not a big heavyweight now. And when you are not that, when you are small heavyweight, then you have to be very athletic, to be successful. Kind of like, well, a good example. Maybe he's not that successful, but Michael Hunter or that type. Like
Yeah,
what's the other guy? Oscar Rivas and well, Michael Arena. Maybe you can also, yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, certainly. Yeah, Joshua Wood says leaning back for the most part does not work unless you had the speed to get away with it. Of course, yeah, you gotta have a little something. One fight we'll certainly talk about is Emanuel
Mm.
Navarrete versus Oscar Valdez, but Navarrete is one of those guys who leans back, does things so unconventional and unorthodox, but he gets away with it, and he has a pretty solid chin as far as I'm concerned as well.
Yeah, he's amazing. I mean, he's just pretty amazing, I would say.
Yeah, yeah. So Joshua Wood says Fury versus Usyk for me is the biggest fight that needs to be made. I agree with you there. Yeah, I do agree with you there, Joshua. Certainly at this stage, of
Yeah.
course, that is the biggest heavyweight fight because that would give us an undisputed heavyweight champion in the four belt era, and we haven't had that. So this would be an opportunity right here. And of course, we know Fury is going to be going up against Ngannou, so that
Yeah.
maybe takes this year out of the picture. And of course, Alexander Usyk is going to be fighting Daniel Dubois, which I think should be a pretty good fight. I do favor Usyk in
Yeah.
that contest.
I was gonna say that's an interesting fight. See how Usyk will, how easily or how difficult it will be for him to win that
And I
fight. I
think it
don't
may
think.
be in Saudi Arabia, right? Is that where it's
All
going to
right.
be at?
But I was just thinking, just imagine what would happen if Usyk was to get knocked out by Dubois. That would be just,
Hey, that would be the heavyweight
catastrophic.
division will be shaken up.
Yeah,
It would
catastrophic.
be fully shaken if Dubois was somehow able to knock out Usyk.
But
Game
what a
changer right
great,
there.
yeah, but what a victory it would be for Dubois, man. Oh,
Yes, it'd be a heck of a victory. That would certainly shake up some things.
yeah. I don't
Certainly.
know really if Usyk is capable of stopping Dubois, but Lorena, who I just mentioned, he did pull him down 3 times. Looked close to
Oh
stopping
yeah,
him
that
in
is
one
right.
round. Yeah, so it kind of shows that he's not that. He's kind of chinny, I guess.
Yeah, we hadn't really seen him touched up once he was on his little rise. He was usually blasting guys out of there until Joe Joyce, who was
Yeah,
basically
exactly.
using a jab. It was mainly Joyce's jab that messed up
Well,
Dubois'
yeah,
eye. He's just
yeah,
strong, you know.
yeah. Joyce is not really such a big puncher. I noticed that he often stopped his opponents, with the accumulation, just constant, punching, constant attacking. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
he's not.
Yeah, yeah, you're right there. Real quick, Beagle 47 says boxing fans proving rather by best versus best than the unbeaten versus unbeaten. Most certainly, some of those can be tricky. Just because a fighter has an unbeaten record doesn't mean they're necessarily worthy of that billing. So yeah, I'm with you. We need the best versus
Yeah.
the best, and for the most part, this year we've been getting a lot of that. They also announced that Sonny Edwards will be taking on Bam Rodriguez, so that's another good. Just so happens to be best versus best and unbeaten mixed in the mix right there. So that should be a good
Great,
contest.
great fight. Really wonderful matchup. Yeah.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Salute to
Actually,
Blake in the building. Blake, what's going on? Blake Gallimore, drop by. Good stuff. Agrees there with
Blake,
Joshua.
my
Certainly.
favorite, my favorite adversary. Just
Yeah, right. Appreciate you
frenemy.
talking about Blake. Blake, yeah, we had missed you right here. You should have been on there the other night, Blake. We were talking about Dempsey. It was on the he just so happened to come up, but it was on the discussion about Denver Ed Martin. Blake, I needed you
MC would
there.
knock out Harry Grab anytime. Just don't even doubt that.
I needed you there, Blake. Salute to Ross Clot 222 in the building. Appreciate you, Ross Clot. Glad that you dropped in. As always, it's good chatting with you, Ross Clot 222 triple two. But good stuff for sure. Rodolfo says, I know this is off topic, but Neymar just accepted an offer to Al Hilal right now. And he said, oh, wow, on the soccer side. My goodness, I'd imagine that's some big money
So
because
he's
Neymar
sold
is an
out.
expensive player. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
so many. Now I know also Ronaldo. He's went to where that was, Dubai or somewhere. I don't know, somewhere
No, he's
in
over there. Yeah, Saudi Arabia. I
Saudi
guess the
Arabia.
competitor
Yeah,
to this team right there.
and
This
I
is the
don't.
one that I think Benzema is over there, Rodolfo. Is that the
Yeah, but
one Benzema is on?
he's done anyway. He's got 1 or 2 years left to play, and he's like 38 now. Yeah, so
Yeah, should be interesting. Certainly should
same
be
with
interesting.
Zlatan in America. He went there when he was
Oh yeah,
like
yeah. But hey, he
I don't
did
know
good. Even though he
30.
got on the back end, he did pretty good.
Yeah, he was almost 40, I think, when he went there.
Yeah, yeah.
38.
I think yeah, got there like 37, 38 or something like that.
Yeah,
So yeah, one of those things.
the
Rodolfo says I
golden
heard
boy.
Emmanuel had a black eye 86. Oh, did he? Emmanuel Navarrete, he took some shots, but he was handling pretty well. I didn't know he had a black eye there, Rodolfo. I had to look back. It looked like he wasn't as messed up as Oscar Valdez. Now, Oscar Valdez, his right eye was shut, very red and bruised. So he certainly had a bit more than a black eye. But as far as Navarrete, I know at least getting towards the back end of the fight, his face was still pretty much good. But I'll have to double check on that, Rodolfo. Maybe he did have a black eye. I don't recall seeing it.
This reflection.
Max Duran says, I think Fury is ducking Usyk big time. I don't know what's the reason right there. You're right, because Usyk was agreeing to all of the demands that Fury was putting on him, and Usyk accepted. And Fury seemed as though he didn't want to do the fight for some reason.
That
So
was just, yeah. I think I mean, honestly, Fury would have gotten stripped by now if he was somebody else. Like, if he wasn't that
yeah,
showman that everybody loves. Well, everybody
it's very
loves to watch.
it's
Yeah.
very interesting that he is doing this Ngannou fight. Surely he can't think that hey, boxing fans were going to be clamoring for this fight when Usyk is there. But that's the route he chose to go. So maybe it's just like, hey, he's just looking to get the money that he can get right now, and Usyk can wait till later. But yeah, certainly interesting there, Max. I will say that if it isn't
Yeah, I
if it
mean,
isn't a duck, it's damn close to it.
if Usyk gets past the wall, which he probably will, I think then he is number one mandatory. Is the guy who also fought last night. You know who I'm talking about? A guy
Yeah.
that comes from the same area as I do, Mr. Filip Pergovic.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. We can certainly jump to that one. Philip
yeah,
Hergovich. Yeah, he was in action against Dipsy McKean. And you know what?
yeah,
I think that was my first time seeing Dipsy McKean from the looks of things. I know the fight in
yeah.
itself was not an overall good fight or great fight
No,
or anything of that
it
nature.
was not.
Yeah, it was
No,
not. But Dipsy
no.
McKean, it seems like when he's pressing forward offensively, he's pretty solid. But there wasn't a lot of that. He started to do a little bit on the back end, but he spent the majority of the fight on the outside. He would occasionally throw a 1-2 and
Hugging,
certainly
wrestling.
holding a good deal. And
Yeah,
hey, he knows how to survive. I'm surprised he got knocked out because he seemed like he was a survivor in there because he was doing all the right things to make sure that he stayed up.
yeah,
Because when he tied Hergovich up, he would get to the ropes. He would hold on to the ropes. The referee had to struggle to get them off, get them apart. So it was a
yeah.
pretty crazy fight in that sense.
Yeah, Ergovic hadn't fought for a year.
Yeah,
So you must expect that he would be. I did expect him not to be in top shape.
yeah,
He of course was dominant all the way until the end, but he just seemed to tire like after round six, and I was kind of. I was a little pissed off because he didn't manage to get McKean out of there sooner. But as I
yeah,
said, McKean also held a lot, and
yeah. He
that
did. He did.
that referee wasn't the best either at always separating
Yeah,
them. And I
yeah.
mean,
McKean, he wanted no parts of the exchanges either.
yeah, I mean, you don't pick like a small guy in his 60s or whatever to referee a fight between two huge, like giant
Yeah, I
boxers.
agree. I agree with you there. They probably
It's
could have got someone big,
yeah,
a bit bigger.
like I don't know, someone like that guy. What's his name? Kenny Bayless or I don't know. No,
Yeah,
Larry Hazard. I don't know if he's still in the game, but
there's
anyway.
another one I can't think of his name, but I know him if I see him. But he's officiate. He's a tall referee. He's
Yeah,
bald headed. This black guy. He's got a little mustache. I can't think of his name right now, but he's
yeah,
refereed some of the bigger fighters because he looks like he's about 6 something, 6'3", maybe something like that,
six,
6'4".
yeah. And also that guy, what's his name? Vic Drakulich was a big guy. Like
Oh
you
yeah, I haven't
remember?
seen him in forever. I guess he's
Yeah,
done. At least
yeah. He's
not on the
probably
TV side.
retired. Yeah,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
was. He was already kind of aging. I remember in that fight.
He had a short leash.
Yeah, did he? I think he maybe was a referee at Mayweather versus Judah or something. Man, doesn't matter.
It
Anyway,
might have been, but I remember he
yeah,
had a short leash. He would take a point quick. I was like,
yeah,
hold
yeah.
up
He
now.
wasn't the best referee.
Ron
Neil
Scott says Joe
Slane,
Joyce was improving. Then he lost to the Asian guy. Joyce is not
Jean.
a puncher. Agree. Yeah, certainly.
Mm,
Jean Jallet. Jean Jallet.
yeah,
The Jean Jallet he
and
was working at. He had I think it was a straight right, or it was just snapping pretty quick. He
yeah.
kept just landing it on Joyce.
And that fight really proved that everybody was down on Hergovich, but that fight made him look good. I think because
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
he can take some punches, and as the commentator said, he is better under pressure when he's pushed.
yeah.
That
But yeah, like you
because
said, he had been out for about a year, and he needs to be active. I think maintaining activity.
yeah,
You can say that about a lot of fighters, but some come back from long layoffs when they pick up right where they left off. But Hergovich, I'd imagine he needs to be active because he looked a bit
yeah,
lethargic towards that tail end of the fight, kind of
yeah.
just like he was feeling it. You can tell he was feeling it a little bit. So
I
yeah,
don't
hopefully he
know.
remains active.
Was very irresponsible of his management, but I'm glad. I was glad to see that he is trained by Ronnie Shields actually now.
Oh
So
yeah, yeah, Ronnie
that's
Shields, yeah, he's good to go.
yeah, that's a good guy. You want him in your corner, yeah, someone like him.
Most certainly. Most certainly. Oh, Ronnie, yeah, he's good to go.
Yeah,
Real quick, Beagle says Edward Bam is a boxing home run. Indeed. Looking forward to that one right there, Beagle. It certainly is. Rasclot 222 says, what I saw last night, Wilder can beat AJ 5 years ago. AJ walks through Wilder. Hey, I'm on the same page as you there, Rasclot. Previously, I thought that, probably about 5 years ago, I thought that Anthony Joshua beat Deontay Wilder. I was sure of it myself there, Rasclot. But now at this stage, I can't see it happening. I just don't see it happening.
mm,
Just I wonder about the Anthony Joshua once something huge is landed, because of course I think that Wilder were given those opportunities and openings. It might serve Joshua better to be the aggressor with Wilder, but if Joshua's kind of just doing what he was doing with Helenius, kind of just trying to box and maybe try and pick him off, I don't know. I think that something big from Wilder lands, and that'll be very interesting. Very, very interesting.
yeah.
Thinking about his response, that is. Salute to
Mm.
Flack Boxing in the building. Appreciate your Flack Boxing. Hey, be sure to go check out Flack Boxing. Give him a like and subscribe. Breaking down some historic fighters over there. Great video on Jack Sharkey. No Jack Sharkey, right? Shows you how he had a very modern style. And
Mm.
Flack Boxing is one worthy of certainly checking out. So be sure to check them out. Like and subscribe. Matter of fact, give us a like and subscribe, or a like, maybe subscribe, but I think everybody subscribed. But it's good to go. So appreciate your Flack. Joshua Wood said, well, Mickey Walker was rated as the third best heavyweight in the 30s at one time. So you never know about Greb versus Dipsy. Certainly,
Let's not
certainly.
start with that discussion now. It might not be finished.
Certainly. Greb all day over Dipsy. Easy win. Salute to you, Blake. That's
Yeah.
funny. Well, I'm with you there, Blake. Oh, Rodolfo Rivera Jr. says Emanuel Rodriguez. Yes, Emanuel Rodriguez had some kind of hematoma over his, I want to say right eye. It was a big one. It was one of those, huge lumps. His eye was almost closed, but it was just right above. I think it was from a head, but apparently at ringside they ruled it as coming from punches. Usually you don't see those big hematomas
Hmm.
from a punch. It's usually a hit, but a la, Hakeem Rothman, Lennox Lewis, I think
Oh
it was, or
yeah.
no, Hakeem Rothman and someone. Who was it? It wasn't
No, it
Lennox.
was Holyfield.
Holyfield. Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
He had one of those hematomas. Now his was
yeah,
huge.
oh man,
The
like a
one on
football. Like,
Rodriguez was pretty big. I will say it was pretty big. So it yeah, I don't know. It would seem like it was something they're gonna have to get that type of swelling down. But you're right, Rodolfo. So I did watch that fight as well. Emmanuel Rodriguez, he was pretty much dominant in that fight and a champion again, as expected. Good stuff.
yeah,
Valdez is wearing out physically. Rasclot. Yeah, I agree. Coming into this contest, I lean towards. Matter of fact, yeah, we can jump to this, but coming into this contest, and now we're talking Emanuel Navarrete, Oscar Valdez, which was a matchup that took place last night as well. In what could be a fight of the year candidate. Some people are saying it's their fight of the year. It certainly had a lot of action back and forth between the two. Some clean shots being taken and responded to, but certainly it was a good one. Oscar Valdez, Emmanuel Navarrete for 130-pound supremacy, I guess you can say, or at least for the time being. And it was a drag 'em out fight at times. Emmanuel Navarrete, all in his awkward style and everything, he was able to get the better of Oscar Valdez. I had it 117, 111 in favor of Navarrete. Some of the judges had it a bit wider than that. I thought Oscar Valdez had some good moments. He landed some clean shots as well, but Navarrete, he has a chin. And I think when Navarrete got dropped by the Australian guy in his last contest, I don't know that he came into that fight in true shape. It seemed like he didn't. But he paid for it and he almost lost, but he looked to be back on his game in this one. And I agree, Rasclot, Oscar Valdez, he has been in a number of wars to this point. I mean, that Scott Quigg fight had his jaw broken, all that stuff. So he's been through some things. So yeah, it's gonna be tough sledding for him, just at that title level because there's always gonna be someone out there that can touch you up, and his face, he couldn't handle it. His face can't handle the punches the way that it
yeah.
did previously. If you notice, because he was swelling up very early. So that's my 2 cents on. Were you able to catch any of that, boss?
No, no, no. I mean, judging from the fight that Valdez had with Stevenson, I'd say he doesn't really handle, this adversity very well. It's, kind of tricky fighters, and he does well against guys who just come forward and throw. But whenever someone does something a little different, is a little
Yeah,
slicker. He struggles, obviously. Yeah, that's
yeah,
my
yeah.
assessment. Yeah.
No, I'm with you there. Yeah, I think, yeah, he's gonna be a guy who hovers around the top of the division, moving as we continue forward. Which, hey, he's still certainly a top level fighter. But I think he's, yeah, gonna be one of those guys who just kind of is around the division, and him winning a title again, it could happen. I don't see it
Yeah.
happening, but certainly it could. But he's had a good career, I guess you can say, overall. And yeah, it's just gonna be interesting where he goes from here because he's not a huge guy. So going up to 135,
Yeah.
that's gonna be tough. This is gonna be very
Yeah.
tough right there. So I think
No.
he'll hover around 130, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I don't like him because he ruined Miguel Berchelt, who I really liked as a fighter. So
Yeah, and
I'm
I think
kind of
that was the
glad he
peak
lost.
win
I
right
would
there.
say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I think that was the peak win of his career thus far because Burchelt was one of these guys who was a feared puncher. At least he could punch, but he's just a feared guy who could bring it
But there were
on
some
offense and all that.
if I remember correctly, there were some accusations of cheating for against Valdez, like juicing and stuff. I don't know if they were proved. I mean, if they had any real, base to them. But anyway,
Yeah, not sure about that. Yeah, I'm
yeah,
not sure of it, but it could have been. It could have been. But yeah, but that was a hell of a I think it was a left hook that took out Burchelt, and Burchelt was not the same after that.
Yeah, in 10th round, when you get knocked out that late, that's always, potentially career ending. Yeah.
Yeah, his because he came back and his punch resistance seems to be gone. So that's tough. That's when it's time to hang it up right there for sure. Max
Yeah.
Ryan says Greb's the most fascinating story in boxing. Best resume. We need to find film of this man. And certainly, Max. Certainly, hopefully, we come across that at some point. Well, maybe one of these days. Rodolfo says Dipsy ain't that bad, but I now understand why people spar with him a lot. Good stuff
Yeah, McKean. All right.
there. Vigo says heading back to the Garden of Oz, looking bad, supporting those shades. Love it.
Yeah,
Appreciate you, Vigo. Appreciate you for sure there, Vigo. No doubt about it.
They
Rodolfo,
reflect the screen. That's why they go on my nerves.
but no, that's good stuff. It's a good way to represent that. Rodolfo said we needed 86 to ref Herkovich. Hey, I would have got in there and did the thing there, Rodolfo. I could have handled it.
Strong enough, yeah.
Hey, told him to cut that out now. And got that thing back on track. Rasclot says Valdez taking too much punishment last couple of fights. Certainly there, Rasclot. Certainly, yeah, he's in an interesting spot. He's in a very interesting spot in his career right now. Because he's what now? Probably like 30, right? Somewhere in there.
Yeah, probably.
And so he's had some highs, but yeah, it's going to be tough for him moving forward there. We'll see how he does. I think he's still a player, but certainly not the player at the top of the division. Rasclot says, I missed the Philip Hergovich fight. He did. How did he look? Looked a bit lethargic there, Rasclot, to be honest with you. Looked lethargic.
Yeah.
Like he was at times going through the motions.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of just going through the motions at times.
Valdez is 32. I just checked. Yeah.
Oh, 32. Okay. So, yeah, he surpassed 30.
Yeah.
Hey,
yeah,
about that time.
Yeah, you didn't really miss much there, Rasclot. Yeah, not a good fight, but at least it ended with a knockout, so it could have been worse. It could have gone to the points,
Yeah, Hergovich caught him with a huge shot to end the thing, or end the contest there, Rasclot. So that's worthy of watching. I think we could watch a highlight video and get pretty much the fight. It'll save you some time there. Rasclot says AJ mental state is out of boxing. AJ and Wilder both took beatings, but Wilder mentality isn't ruined. Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, I think he still, he came back and he was still trying to bang it out there with Fury, and that's just having gone with them 3 times. And of course, we saw what he did to Helenius. Took 1 round, and yeah, certainly the mental piece of it is a huge piece for sure. You can't help but think that AJ is thinking in there, at least thinking about what could happen if he's caught, Holyfield butted Rothman, if I recall. Joshua Wood, yes, sir. Yeah, that's what caused that huge talking hematoma on his forehead that time.
Somebody compared it with a gargoyle or something. I remember.
Yeah, sort of.
Yeah, it was huge, man, like a ball.
Yeah, did have that look and feel to it for sure. Rodolfo says, did you watch the fight in person, 86? No, I didn't. I did watch it in person there, Rodolfo. I had thought about it. What I said I was going to do is I was going to apply for a media credential, and then I would get a ticket for my partner. She would have went with me. But I didn't get the media credential, so I was like, I'm not going to go. There were a lot of empty seats there. It was priced not too bad. I mean, you could get on the floor for $300, but Emanuel Rodriguez and the guy he fought, something Lopez, they're not like huge names or whatever, especially for this area, and I think that kind of played into it as well. So it wasn't a sold out thing. It was the first fight at the MGM since pre-pandemic, as far as I can recall. I just think that they probably would have done better visually and had all the seats filled had they had more of a stronger headliner who was probably from the area. Now Gary Antuanne Russell was on that card, but he certainly shined. But Emanuel Rodriguez and Lopez were the headliners, and I think that outside of if you're a boxing fan for sure, did you know the deal with Emanuel Rodriguez being a former champion, all that, but certainly not mainstream, in that
Mm.
sense. So we'll see how it does there, Rodolfo. But yeah, I saw some empty seats there, but they still seem like they had a decent amount of people there. That theater at the MGM, it holds like a few thousand people. So I want to say in the neighborhood of 3 or 4 thousand, somewhere around there. Woods, yes, it was a hit, but certainly. Joshua Wood says Teddy Atlas made a comment a few years back. Each body can take so many hits before it breaks. Regarding Valdez, of course. Yeah. That makes sense there, Joshua. As I was saying, you could
Yeah,
tell his I don't know if it's scar tissue or what, but his face swells. It always swells. And you see some fighters, they can go 12 rounds and it looks like they hadn't been in a fight, or they
yeah,
might have a couple of slight bruises or anything. But for Valdez, he bruises fairly easy at this point.
yeah. Guys like David Tua, for instance, you could never tell if they had been in a fight. Like he
Yeah,
had been. I mean,
yeah,
it
right.
was so unbelievable when the Ibeabuchi fight. When it finished, he was just like fine, all looked all smiling, and so did Ibeabuchi as well. But I think he
Oh
took
yeah,
some damage later.
Ibuchi.
Yeah,
Yeah, I remember seeing
but
that fight.
yeah, but Tua, he was so strong. Oh man, so
Tough.
inhumanly strong. Yeah, and tough.
Those
Oh
Samoans, they can take some shots.
yeah, boom.
You really can't put a dent in them. But
he
yeah,
When he knocked out John Reese, it looked like he had killed him. I mean, really, God, he was like,
man, yeah, he
yeah,
blasted through him,
boom, that huge left. I think
and
it
he
was a
blasted Michael Moore.
yeah. But the way he kind of jumped at the same time as punching him, that was wow.
But Ruiz, yeah, he destroyed Ruiz at that.
Yeah, and
Didn't take
that
long.
Michael Moore punch didn't even look so hard, right? I mean, it didn't sound that hard, but he just lay out there, couldn't get up. It was so
The Troy is the guy who I said he never loses any fantasy matchups. Whenever you say,
no,
"Hey, David Tua versus XYZ," he never loses. It's one of those
yeah. I
things.
mean, he never lost in an open war. I think. I mean, that Ibrahimovic fight he lost, but I didn't think he should have. It was a draw. Yeah, I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah,
One of those things for sure. Rat Scott says some fighters can age drastically at a young age if you have too many wars. Certainly, Oscar Valdez has been in his fair share of them. Rat Scott also says, truthfully, the loss to Andy Ruiz ruined AJ's mentality. Yeah, he certainly isn't as confident when taking the shot, seemingly,
yeah,
um, since then, because yeah,
yeah,
that kind of changed the dynamic for him a bit, and that was on a big stage, New York, Madison Square
yeah.
Garden.
The worst thing is, it wasn't that like his debut, like in America or something. I don't know, but anyway, it was the first time he was in Madison Square Garden, I believe.
Oh
So
yeah, yeah,
what a
certainly.
way to to make your debut. Oh man.
Oh yeah,
Being blown out by an undersized, overweight. I don't know how old was Andy, 20 something,
yeah. He
Mexican.
was 20
Yeah,
something,
American.
but yeah, he
Yeah,
hadn't really gained any marquee win or anything, and he lost to Joseph Parker,
yeah,
a notable fighter, and of course Anthony Joshua beat Joseph Parker, even though it wasn't a
yeah.
very pretty fight.
Even though I think that fight was, I didn't see it actually yet. They say it was very close, fight. But yeah, Parker was really, at his best back then. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Beagle says weird, but I see Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. and some of his wars. He fought a long career. Certainly, yeah. Hey, he still looks good, Chavez Sr. So he's one of the examples of someone, hey, who was in a lot of wars, but hey, still looks to be trucking, no problem. But yeah, he was always at a number of events and everything. So JCC Senior. Joshua Wood says Tua is not human regarding the taking hits. So yeah, certainly. Hey, you can hit him with the kitchen sink, and it seems like he would
Yeah,
have still stayed up and not even gone down. It was crazy. Did he ever go down? He didn't go down in his career, did he?
it,
Or did he?
I think once in the last fight, was it one of his last against
Oh,
Monty
okay.
Barrett? That's strange. I mean, come on,
Monkey Barrett.
Monty. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
he I
he would
think
have beat
managed
Barrett
to.
if he'd have
Yeah,
been.
but that was an old tour,
Yeah.
past his best. So yeah, he almost knocked out Barrett. I remember in the last round in the rematch, but in the end he lost that on points. Yeah,
Oh, okay. Yeah. So yeah, that's the only time. But yeah, he had a heck of a chin. Rascalot says Gary Russell is looking good lately. Is he a hype job? Remains to be seen. I think he's the real deal. Rascalot, he's the real deal. Comes from a
yeah,
boxing family, and I know that they're always in the gym. They're always involved with in and around boxing. Even here on the amateur scene, I see him at times. So Gary Russell Jr., the older brother, yeah, he's always been working with varying fighters, been in the corner. I've seen him doing it on the amateur side of things. So I think the fact that he's working with uh, Gary Antuanne Russell, who's the youngest one, is no problem for him. I think he's used to it. And Gary Antuanne Russell, the one at 140, I think he's the real deal, Rascalot. He's
yeah,
got an amateur pedigree and all that, so he can box. And he chooses to be aggressive. He's very aggressive compared to
he's yeah.
his brother.
He's won all of his fights so far by knockout, 17 fights, and he's also tall for that division, very tall.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think the Showtime crew, PBC crew, or whatever thought that Cruz was going to be blasted within a round when this fight was
Yeah,
put together.
he was unbeaten, like
Yeah,
23 and all, something like that.
yeah, yeah. But all it took was a round that he had him out of there. So he's the real deal, Rascalot. And I think what gonna backs it is his amateur pedigree. He was an Olympian and all. He probably could have went further in the Olympics. He wasn't going. I know in that fight that he ended up losing before going to the semifinals. Yeah, it
Yeah.
seemed like he spent some time. He was, I guess, messing around, kind of doing some taunting like things, and I guess it backfired for him. But he's a very good boxer for sure.
Hmm.
Rascalot says Tua was overrated to me. The way Bird made him look foolish. Tua showed me he was nothing more than a puncher. Oh yeah, Chris Bird has a win over him. I always like Chris Bird stylistically. He can box.
He was a puncher. I mean, he was not really a boxer, but still, he was very effective in what he did usually.
Oh
So
yeah,
yeah, he was able to knock out some better boxers than himself. I mean, yeah,
yeah, indeed, indeed. Max Duran says Keyshawn Davis is a rising star as well. Certainly, Keyshawn, they had him on the fast track. He's passed everything with flying colors for the most part thus far in his career, and I think that he is someone who has that championship pedigree for sure. I want to see him take on Kid Austin, Floyd Schofield, and I know Schofield wants to fight. They had go back and forth previously. Both of them are young. Why not? I mean, Duran and Leonard were young. Leonard and Hagler were young when they fought. So hey, you're gonna be great if you're gonna be great.
yeah, we got there to be great.
Let's not hold it up.
Hmm.
Uh, Joshua Wood says Tua could be outboxed, but I'm not knocking his chin. Certainly, certainly. Hey, one of the best because he was in there with some big punchers for sure. Rasclot says Ike Power was overrated. That's why Tua stayed in the pocket. Whereas with Lewis, the first shot he took, and Tua was hesitant to get in close. Yeah,
Well,
Lewis is strong for sure.
I wouldn't say Ike's power was overrated. I mean, he knocked out Chris Bird. So let's not forget that.
Be a
But
Buche. Yeah, he
yeah,
was a big dude. He was a big dude.
mm,
Strong. He's
yeah,
like
very
strong guy.
strong man, really strong, powerful. Oh,
But yeah,
yeah,
of course, career
maybe.
derailed before we could actually see him take it to the pinnacle of what he may have potentially could have been. Some good
Yeah,
fights are out left on the table, of course.
Yeah, he's like a greatest wasted talent probably in the heavyweight division, at least in the last 30 years
Did
or
he get
something.
out recently over the last several years or something like that?
Yeah, he got out. I don't remember. It was a few years ago. He finally was released.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
was looking at it. Yeah, yeah. So
but
he had
too
a
late.
release.
Yeah,
Yeah, he had
too
a
late.
release, then a and then he was picked up again and then released again.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, Biabuche, yeah, wasted talent for sure. For
Mm.
sure. Joshua Wood says Tools not beating Lewis without a shot like Rothman landed the first time. Lewis still pegged him for 12 rounds. Oh yeah,
Mm.
certainly. Hey, Lewis, hey, he knew how to do that. Even
Yeah.
as Lewis got older, yeah, he knew how to work behind that jab,
I,
keep him at a distance, and
12 was just too short for Lewis. Simple as that. He was too big.
yeah, certainly, yeah, it was going to be tough getting in on
Yeah.
Linux.
And he was never, of course, some athletic, really fast guy. So
Oh yeah,
mm,
yeah, certainly.
like
Rascal's school lost
Oliver.
my spirit in their story.
That
Yeah,
was at the end of his career, I said. So he
yeah,
was. Yeah.
the end. Yeah, so but yeah, it seemed like yeah he ran into trouble with the top boxers, I guess you can say, but not that Barrett
Yeah.
was that.
Yeah. No.
Rascal 86. I hope so about Gary Russell. Certainly, certainly. I think he's there. I think he's there, or he's the real deal there. Joshua Wood says, not saying to us Joe Grimm, but Grimm had a chin as well, even with the losses. Certainly he did. Certainly he
Hmm.
did. I have a video out there on Joe Grimm, the barbaric career of Joe Grimm.
Joe
Philadelphia
Green.
crazy. Yeah,
I don't know. I never heard of him actually before.
oh, you got to check out the video on the 86 Boxing
Right.
channel there, Boz. You'll learn a
Right.
little something about him. He's a Philadelphia
Cool.
fighter.
Yeah. Nice. Nice.
Been in with everybody from Joe Gans to Bob Fitzsimmons to Jack Blackburn to Sam McVeigh. You name it. He's in with everybody.
Yeah. All
Joe
right.
Grimm. You got to look him up. The Iron Man of
Joe
boxing right
Green.
there.
Hmm.
Toughest boxer ever right there.
Nice.
Tough in an unhuman way, almost. Rasclot says Martin versus Keyshawn is what I want to see. Oh yeah, I want to see that one. They had a little back and forth at some fight not too long ago. It was in the aftermath, of course, of Martin's fight against the I think Armenian fighter, and yeah, that one I'd like to see there too. Rasclot, that's a good one. Frank Martin, I like Frank Martin at least from what I see. A lot of people were down on him because of his last fight, but that being said, I think Martin versus Keyshawn Davis, that's a different fight. You know, styles make fights. Who knows how it's going to turn out once they're there in the mix. So I'd like to see that one as well there, Rasclot, despite uh, any previous fights or whatever. I think, yeah, hopefully they can make it happen. They both seemed like they were down for it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Rasclot says Ike style would have been easy pickings for any of the Klitschko's. I think both brothers would beat Ike. What do you think their buys?
I don't know really. It's kind of hard to say. I mean, Vladimir was always Chinese, so I could have taken him out. But yeah, I mean, it would be hard for him to beat both of them. I mean, any of them. Still,
You know,
it
working behind
wasn't
a long jab.
impossible. Wouldn't be impossible, really. I don't think so.
Yeah, I guess more of a chance against Vlad at that time.
Yeah. Ike was actually, he was kind of clever. I mean, if you look at it, he knew how to throw punches, and from the right angles and all that, at the right time. So he wasn't just some dumb, brawler, some
Oh yeah.
crude, unpolished, guy or punch or whatever.
Oh yeah. Cheers to Alexander Campbell. Cheers, Alexander. Appreciate you dropping in, buddy. Always good to chat. Alex says Vitaly the Mighty Kozak sent Lewis into retirement. Lewis didn't want any more of Klitschko. Wait a minute, Alex. Are you Ukrainian or something?
I
Hold
think
on.
he's like half.
No, I know.
Yeah.
It's a joke. But no, I got you there. Hey, I give Lennox Lewis props. He knew when it was time to hang him up. It was time to hang him up,
Yeah,
and he
that
didn't come
was
back.
very unlucky fight for Vitaly. Yeah,
Yeah, his eye got
yeah,
jacked up. But yeah, he was giving it to Lewis. Lewis started to come on a little bit, but then they stopped it. Would have been an interesting one. A
yeah.
rematch that would have been cool to see. But
But
Lewis was
I
like,
don't
I'm not
like.
risking it.
I never discuss a fight with the Brits, because they always are so pro Lewis. I mean, you cannot say anything like you know he was losing that fight, even though he was on all scorecards. When
Yeah,
they
yeah, he was
stopped.
down.
So, yeah,
I think he looked like he was starting to pick up a little bit, but yeah, he
yeah,
was down on the scorecards.
he did land some big shots, but yeah, I mean, Vitaly had a great chin always, so
Yeah, yeah,
wasn't for the cut, who knows? Yeah,
yeah, right. Yeah, he's all yeah. Vitaly, yeah, he does have a pretty solid chin overall. And he's shown that. So yeah, that was an interesting one. I remember watching that live when it happened, and I was just like, oh my goodness, it was pretty
yeah,
cool though.
yeah.
That
It
was
was
like
a good
2000 what 3 or
three,
2004? Okay,
three.
2003.
Yeah,
Okay,
in June. Yeah,
okay. Bod's on game remembers the dates and
yeah,
all that. Rascott says Ike was definitely a formidable opponent because I'm just speculating he definitely could have been an ATG. Oh yeah, potentially there, potentially could have had the makings, especially if he'd have continued on the trajectory. If he'd have continued on that trajectory, would have been an interesting mix. His name would be probably mentioned more amongst those heavyweights of the '90s, early 2000s,
yeah.
who had the better part of their career during that period.
He
So,
wanted to fight Lewis, as far as I remember. Also, I read an interview before that whole thing happened when he went to jail.
oh yeah,
So yeah, that would have been one hell of a fight.
yeah, that would have been an interesting one right there. Yeah, maybe at some point we would have got Tyson versus Abil Buche, even though it wouldn't have been. It would depend
Yeah,
on the state of Tyson, of course. It's just been a big
yeah.
punching match for sure.
Tyson, yeah, he was so unpredictable. Yeah, I mean,
Oh yeah. Joshua says Brewster took a beating getting that KO over Vlad.
yeah, that was really wow. That was crazy fight.
Roman Brewster.
He was also down before that in the previous round, Brewster. Yeah,
Oh yeah. Yeah. Rascott says, yep, Vlad glassed out or gassed
yeah,
out.
he did, and then there were some claims that he was drugged and stuff like that. I didn't understand that.
Yeah. Yeah, certainly. Alex says my dad was a Brit, a Scot, but I don't think my mom would have been receptive to my dad not backing Vitaly. Believe me, guys, Ukrainian women are not submissive. Good
I believe
to
you.
go. Good
I
to
did
go there,
meet.
Alex.
I did know one of them. So yeah, I believe.
Yeah, they're not giving in.
Mm,
Certainly. Certainly. Rascalot says, I always say no way does Vlad get last 6 more rounds with Lewis with an I like that. Um, People are forgetting Lewis still dangerous with punching when
he
though he was
meant
past his prime. Oh yeah,
he
so
meant
Vitaly.
Italy
Oh
probably.
yeah,
Yeah.
Vitaly. Yeah, the eye pretty yeah, probably would have gotten worse.
Yeah, that had to be stopped, unfortunately. Yeah, of course. I mean,
Or
as I
the
said,
skin was
if
gonna
it,
be gone and you would just saw a big eyeball with no
yeah,
skin there. That would have been crazy.
like zombie stuff.
Yeah, right. So I understand why it was stopped. They were trying to do their best to get it fixed.
Yeah, they were. I mean, Vitaly was very upset, but yeah, I mean, there was nothing that could have been done. I mean, it would have just kept on bleeding, and then it would have been stopped anyway after
Oh
another
yeah,
round.
certainly,
Mm.
certainly. Real quick, since we're getting on up there, just wanted to mention that Johnny Fisher, he had an exciting fight against Armstrong, something Armstrong. I don't know if you caught the Johnny
Yes,
Fisher fight, guys. I know we've talked about him at varying points, but he looked,
some big fat guy.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, he's improving. Johnny Fisher is improving. I will say that, and he came in. And it looked like he was in good condition in this one.
yeah.
So if he stays
Hopefully, I
around
mean,
that weight, I think he'll be do some things as long as he continues to improve.
yeah, I mean, of course. I mean, there aren't right now many. I mean, with Dillian White, being pretty much finished a serious fire, I think, on Chisora as well. You got Wardley, but he is
Oh yeah,
like
I favor
still,
Wardley over him right now for sure.
yeah. But it's nice to have another one, coming from UK and Europe that might. I mean, I don't know, but he might do something in future, some kind.
He looked a bit better. Some of his
Yeah,
punches were telegraphed because when he was missing wide. That being said, his straight punches are
he's a
fairly
slow
quick
guy.
for a guy of
Yeah,
his size.
yeah, he's
So
very big. I mean, yeah, very like like a bull, a
and he
slow
got on
guy.
his toes a couple of times, so he showed that he can move somewhat. So I think overall, you could tell he's improving. He just needs to continue to work towards that, clean up some of those wild punches he was swinging, especially with the right hand, because when he was missing wide with them. And that could have been because of the opponent too. I know he was intent on getting that guy out of there, and eventually he caught him with something, a huge right or whatever, and it was like
Yeah,
it was over from there. Corner had to throw in
mm,
the towel, so I think that was a right call too. So he worked his way to that, but I think he looks promising. Certainly,
yeah,
I like what I've seen from him more than I have from David Adelaide, who I don't know what the intent is for him. It seems like he hasn't fought anyone of
oh
note
yeah.
ever, and there's no intent for him to fight anyone of note. You know,
I don't know really.
but he's
Yeah,
supposed to be one
there's
of these next guys,
some.
I guess.
Yeah, no, I have not really followed him that much, but I know who he is anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, he did. They put him in there with Fisher. I think I'll take Fisher.
Mm.
Rascott says, I mean, 6 rounds with the eye like that, that is a long time, guys. Oh, yeah, certainly there. Certainly, Rascott. So, yeah, I think it would have definitely been some heavy damage had it gone on. Toss the Lewis Vlad fight back in the 50s and it goes on. Oh, yeah, it would have, yeah, it would have went on that had been there. Especially
Yeah.
even further back, you'd have to pretty much damn near kill a person to get the referee to stop a contest. Alexander says the 1888 to early 20th century, two closed eyes wouldn't get a fight stopped. Certainly not. Certainly, you had to have a severed head or something like that before they'd stop it.
Yeah. Or nose, whatever. Eye.
Yeah, like think about Rocky Marciano getting his nose split with I think it was Ezra Charles. Is that what it is, or was it
Yeah,
Walcott? One of
maybe.
the two. But I feel like yeah, if that happened today, they would stop that.
Oh yeah, for sure. You can say that about quite a lot of fights from back
Yeah.
old times.
But yeah, Joshua Wood says one bare knuckle fight had the guy's eye hanging out and it was not stopped. Yeah, crazy, crazy. Yeah, those were uh so those were some crazy times. You know, I just watched this. This kind of touches on history a little bit, but I just watched this movie on Jim Belcher. Jim Belcher, you know Jim Belcher. Oh, he was from the UK. Bare knuckler.
Yeah, I think I've heard of him, but yeah, I'm not really a big expert on bare knuckle.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know a ton about it. I didn't really know about him, but supposedly James Figg was his great uncle or something like that. It's
Mm,
something of that nature. But it was I thought it was a good movie. The ratings on it. It was on. I think it's on Amazon Prime. I think that's what I watched it on. It didn't have
right.
good ratings, but I thought it was pretty good. Maybe you had to be into boxing, I guess, or
Mm,
fighting. For maybe some people who watched it weren't necessarily, but it was not too bad. And he was the bare knuckle champion of all of England. Then he got his eye messed up in a racquetball or a handball game, and that took him out for a little bit. And he,
oh no.
he came back and tried to recapture the title, but couldn't. But it was in a tough fight. But it was a good one. Jim Belcher, the story. Alexander Campbell says Kilrain was about dead, and his handlers were still debating to throw in the sponge. Oh yeah, certainly. It took Professor Mike Donovan was in Kilrain's corner. Professor Mike Donovan. There's a video on the channel, small video. I need to do a different one on him. But Professor Mike Donovan, one of the great trainers from that period, fighter himself, bare knuckle fighter, and he fought under Marcus of Queensberry rules. But yeah, he threw in the towel himself, or threw in the sponge, I guess you can say, because he was like, "Hey, he's gonna die if he goes back out there." And this was the 74th or 75th round, one or two. Think about that, folks. 75 rounds. Now it was a little different under bare knuckle because of the fact that a round could end if when a person went down. Now that being said, there are some Marcus of Queensberry fights that were in that territory as well, 70 rounds and all that stuff. And these were 3-minute rounds, so you had to go through some crap to make it that far. It's crazy, crazy. Different time,
Yeah,
different breed of
yeah,
human.
very, very different. Yeah.
You know, we're living comfortable over here. I'll take it. I'll take it, certainly.
Yeah, I wouldn't be a fighter back then for
Yeah.
any money, any kind of
Give
money.
me this 21st century comfort. I'm fine with it.
Yeah,
Those guys were tougher back then, no doubt about it.
yeah, they
Um,
had to be really
yeah.
just, yeah.
But Rasclot says, I think the Prime Vlad and the Prime Vitaly wipes out the heavyweight division today. Oh yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, I can see
Probably,
that. Sure, I can see that for sure.
yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah,
They were very, very dedicated to training and fighting everything. They would never duck anyone for sure and stuff like that.
fundamentally sound. Work
Yeah,
behind the jab to a default.
yeah.
So
So,
yeah, I think they would have been. Certainly, they would have had a belt. I think both of them would have had one of the belts or the combination of the belts, similar to the way it was prior to their retirement
yeah,
and all that stuff.
yeah,
Joshua says Jim was one of the best. Lost to Pierce near the end. Yep, yep. Well, that's his name. Yeah, Pierce, Henry Pierce. That was a heck of a fight from the accounts, at least. I need to do a video on Jim. I haven't done a video on a bare knuckler really. Well, I've done some on some bare knuckle fighters who turned boxing. If you see like Patty Ryan, Mike Donovan, Jim Smith, but I was really just covering their boxing career, which was not necessarily long in most cases, or a lot of them didn't have a ton of fights. Though Kilrain, he did. He had a decent amount. I want to say 40 something fights um, in the Marcus of Queensberry rules. Rasclot
mm,
says, I couldn't be a boxer back in those days. Oh, hell no. Certainly not. Different conditions, craziness. You got to go through a ton of stuff there, Rasclot. Joshua says Henry Hen Pierce was the Rocky Marciano of his day, a perfect 7-0 with 7 KOs, which for that is a lot for that era. I mean, so yeah, good stuff. Yeah, they said he did never fought again after that Belcher fight, which was a war. I guess it went 18 rounds, if I recall correctly, 18-round war. But Henry Pierce, I need to study up more on him because I was familiar with the name Belcher, Jim Belcher. As a matter of fact, I had some dialogue with someone on the channel a year or so back who was mentioning Belcher, and I think they had something on their channel that they actually told me to check out this movie. I'm just now checking it out, but pretty interesting stuff right there. Alex says Henry Pierce, the game chicken they called him. Game chicken, yeah, let's get it. Yeah,
wow.
like the fighting
Kind of
game
weird. Yeah. That nickname doesn't make much sense.
cock.
It means
Yeah,
that it implies that he was very ready to run away.
maybe
Like
the
it,
fighting style, the little fighting.
or maybe he would, yeah, peck like a chicken, peck away.
Apparently, they would put the little razors or something on the fighting gamecocks on the
Yeah,
gamecocks' feet or whatever, and they go at it. They
right.
had some of that in the actual that movie, that Belcher movie. They had a little cockfighting event that took place. It's crazy. Roy Jones used to raise some.
Yeah,
All that. I think it's
yeah,
frowned upon
roosters.
now. It's frowned upon, right?
Yeah, his chickens. I know he had a farm. Yeah, I watched that in that preview to what is it called? Yeah, to Ruiz fight. Yeah, that
Yeah.
documentary
I think it's
24/7.
looked at as inhumane. Now I don't know if you can still do it. I don't know. Maybe you can, but I'm not sure.
Yeah,
Uh,
he will mimic those movements. When he knocked out Tony, he said, "They say made a movement like a chicken, a rooster.
Mhm. Yeah, taking that to inside of the ring. That's what's up right there.
Yeah,
uh, real quick, we got about what 10 minutes here, boys. 10 minutes
yeah,
where you got to
10
run.
minutes.
All right. Rasclot said, "What's the next fantasy matchup video?" 86. It's I saw Rednum. He was talking about doing something maybe even today with Joe Walcott versus
Joe,
Sam Langford. Now they did fight. I guess
oh
we got to
yeah,
dive into it a bit more, but diving into it in some
Barbados.
capacity.
Yeah, Barbados Joe,
Yep,
right?
Barbados Joe.
The real
Barbados
Joe
Joe.
Walcott. The
Yeah,
guy
the
was
original.
actually he was named right, actually named Joe
Mm-hmm.
Walcott. Was yeah.
Yeah, the original from
Mm.
Guyana, at least born in Guyana, grew
All
up
right.
in Barbados,
Yeah,
and
that's
then
better. I think a better place to grow up.
oh yeah,
Nice, sir.
certainly.
Yeah.
Rasclot says 86 had done fantasy matchup with Rocky Marciano, Floyd Patterson. You know my money is on Rocky already.
Oh,
Yeah, certainly, certainly. Yeah, we have.
right.
I just put that on the little channel in terms of that little image poll that you can do. We haven't had a discussion
Floyd.
on it, but be an interesting one.
Yeah, I think so. I think he will want because Floyd was just he was also offensive. So but
Oh yeah, I
yeah.
didn't put Marciano, but yeah, we were talking about that Marciano, and I forget what maybe in the last stream or something. But I put Floyd Patterson versus Max Smelling. Actually, that's on the channel
Oh
right now,
yeah.
and
Oh,
I favor
all right.
Max Smelling for the record.
Interesting. Yeah, interesting fight.
I think Smelling could get him out of there. Floyd will be game, of course, but I think Smelling got a big enough punch to derail
Yeah,
things.
he was just too tough, I think to be knocked out by Floyd probably, and
Yeah,
a
yeah.
smart guy also, clever fighter actually. Yeah.
Oh yeah, certainly. Joshua Wood says Pierce got the game chicken because he was game for taking a beating. Good to go
Hell
there, Joshua. Good to go. Yeah, tough cat right there. Alex says 86. See if your library has a piece of Egan's books, Boxiana. It has a detailed profiles of the English bare knuckles written by Egan, who saw many other fighters. Oh no, I had to check that out. I had
Mm.
to check that out right there, Alex. I know I don't have that. I have some books. Well, I have a number of boxing books, but a lot of them are under the Marcus of Queensberry. I have this one that
All
has
right.
pictures. I need to pull it back out and find it, but it has a bunch of old pictures dating back to Sullivan and all of that stuff. Many of them I think are out there now, but that is
That
cool.
reminds me of Mike Tyson when he came in the ring after a Bob Sapp fight, and he said, "If we could fight again, under Marquis of Queensbury rules, I'd fight him tonight." He was like,
Yeah, I remember that. I was looking at that.
"Sign the contract, big boy. Sign the contract."
Sign the contract, big boy.
Yeah, you do it
Mike was
very well.
funny.
Yeah, he said,
Oh
"I'm
yeah,
silent in blood, punk."
yeah. That would have been a funny one. That would have been a funny fight had it happened.
Yeah.
Bob was a big dude, but I think Mike was gonna give it to him.
Oh yeah, bam. Good night.
'Cause Bob was gonna be too wide and unpolished with his shots,
Yeah,
and Mike was gonna catch him and drop him like he did Francis Botha.
yeah, both.
Rasclot said Sam Langford. They say Sam Langford beat Walcott but got cheated. I think I might have recalled something to that nature that the nod should have gone to Sam. He got the shorty end of the stick, which is not surprising. It happened. It certainly happened. Pretty much interesting one there. I'll have to double back. I think we're gonna have some discussions on that Rasclot, so it'll be interesting to see what comes about. Maybe random. He probably knows a bit more detail about that particular fight in terms of how it went down and how it should have been scored or who the judges should have gave it to. I don't know if it was judges. It might have just been a referee who was the decider. And I wonder if it went down as a draw. I believe it went down as a draw. Alex says, I'm not a betting man, but I have to have a spare thousand to bet on The Rock. Oh, certainly.
The
Certainly.
Rock.
Yeah, I take him over Floyd Patterson for sure. Rasclot said, I got Max winning also. Floyd was undersized back then for heavyweight. Yeah, he'd probably be optimal at cruiserweight, if he jumped above
Yeah,
jumping
light
above
heavyweight.
175.
Yeah, he was originally light heavyweight, I think.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah, so cruiserweight probably would have been his. He could have dominated that division, potentially at least. Max was the first to do film study.
Yeah, when he knocked out Joe Louis, yeah, he did.
Oh yeah.
He studied his fights. Yeah,
Supposedly Tunney did some studying
that's
as
so
well.
German. So really like how to say it, so very thorough. Like Germans are really
I've a number of times heard the rumor that Jack Johnson gave Max Melling some tips on how to beat Lewis.
really. Wow.
I've heard that. I haven't looked into it myself to substantiate such, but I have heard mention of that he gave him some pointers, told Max that he drops his, I believe, left or something like that.
That was I
after he
remember
throws the jab, he drops it.
Same as when Gross and Nathan Cleverly they sparred with Kessler before he was gonna fight Froch. So some people from UK were like very outraged. Oh, that's traitor! Like traitors.
Oh, saying that he told Froch some stuff.
Yeah, like why do they help the guy that he's Danish against a British guy? Yeah.
Well, there were points where they threw technique out the window in that fight, so
yeah,
they were kind of banging. Didn't matter.
Yeah, actually, Kessler's mother is English. I heard. Yeah.
Oh, okay. The Viking warrior.
But he was born and raised in Denmark, so yeah, he's basically Danish.
Yeah. Old Kessler.
Yeah, great fighter. I mean, really good fighter. A nice guy.
Certainly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got that Super 6 poster back there with old McHale in there. The Viking warrior, very good fighter right there for sure. Wood says, I think Max Wright would be a game changer. Most certainly there, Joshua, most certainly. All right, guys, I have to go. It was great talking as always. All right, salute to you, Max Duran. Appreciate you for sure. Yeah, we're going to be in that same territory here, having to head out because Boz has another obligation. And I'm going to be hopping on the Fight Night Scores channel at what should be probably about 4:30 for we're going to do a live scoring of a fight. It slips my mind now. I think it's some Ruiz fight. This being John Ruiz versus someone, I believe. Let me see here. WhatsApp.
Well, we don't have to. Right now I saw this thing seems to be canceled, so you don't have to, really rush.
Oh, well, we got some time, folks. We got some time then. Look at there. Just like that. Just like that. So I think we're going to be doing, let me see the time we could do it.
But not that much longer because I get tired if we continue like 20 more minutes or something.
Cool. Yeah, we'll do that. So Holyfield versus John Ruiz. It took place on August 12th, 2000. Controversial, apparently. So we're going to check that out. Rasclot says, can't wait. I got my notifications on for both y'all channels. And I'm busy. I always watch the replays. Appreciate it, Rasclot. Certainly. Hey, it's always good. I like chatting and talking about history. Might set up something for tomorrow as well to dive into some stuff. So, yeah, take care there, Max Duran. Appreciate you dropping by, Rasclot. Yes, I heard Jack Johnson gave tips to Max. I seen it in the documentary. Yeah, same here. I had heard that. People have mentioned it in comments and things of that nature as well, and on websites. So I'm with you there, Rasclot. I haven't dove into it myself, but I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility, of course. There was always these. I think the Ring magazine, they did a good story a few years back, maybe a little bit more than a few years back, on sort of that rivalry between the old guard.
I think, maybe he was a little, jealous that Joe was the new guy in town.
Yeah. So that's essentially what the Ring magazine was saying. They were saying that, it's kind of like Jack Johnson and Joe Louis, because Louis was the kind of young guy or whatever. So there might have been some little issues and kind of built in kind of resentment there, even though they weren't necessarily enemies or whatnot. But then the
Yeah,
similar
just
thing with Joe Louis and Muhammad Ali when Muhammad Ali was the young champion, because if you see
yeah,
pictures and videos and stuff, they were around each other and all that stuff. And there's always a question of, how some say, "Oh yeah, Joe Louis, yeah, back in the day, yeah, he Ali wouldn't been able to touch him. I think it was similar thing with how some people view Lewis in comparison to Jack Johnson. So you had that little
yeah,
rivalry going on. It'd be good if they made a movie or documentary on that.
yeah. I mean, yeah, it's about the prestige, and that rivalry thing. It's a very like. I mean, it's very common in all kind of, I guess, martial or combat sports to be rivals. It's not. You don't see that very much in sports
Yeah,
like tennis or
yeah,
such
right.
sports. Yeah,
Yeah, Alex says Johnson was in Abe Simon's corner in one of the Joe Louis fights. Interesting. Didn't know that. That's good stuff right there. So certainly, he was watching and knew what was going on as it related to Joe Louis. I think Johnson died in 1941 or something like that. 1940, maybe
uh,
three.
yeah. It was
1940
like
something.
probably yeah. Well, he wasn't young. Probably he was
Yeah,
born before 1900, right? Yeah, he was.
yeah.
Of
But he was in
course.
a car crash. It was I think I'm gonna look it up. I think it was like 1943 or
Hmm.
something like that. Could be
Sony,
up.
yeah. Just was thinking about Sony. Listen, he wasn't very old when he died, but that wasn't
Oh
a
yeah,
natural. Yeah, that
1946 for Johnson.
Johnson Jack.
Raleigh, North Carolina is where he died. He had that car crash. So he was
Yeah, I know
68
he
at the
was called Galveston Giant, but he wasn't from Galveston, I believe, right? He wasn't originally from there, I think.
No, he is.
Or he
Yeah,
was
yeah,
actually.
he's from yeah Galveston,
He was
Galveston,
born
Texas.
there. Yeah, yeah, right. My bad.
Yeah,
So he
he
was
had
born.
left.
Yeah, he was born in 1878, and that's 22 years. Well, he was then about 68, I guess, when he died. Yeah.
Yeah, yep, it was. Rascal said, "What's the other guy's channel?" He says, "Guy on with you now, so I can sub." Oh, the Boz. Yeah, what's your channel, Boz? What is it called
It's
now?
just called the bot, really.
The
I mean,
Boz.
I can drop the link. Let's
Oh yeah,
see.
drop the link in there.
Yeah.
Drop the
So
link in there,
it's
Boz. Yeah, he's gonna drop the link in there. He goes live all the time. I actually caught a little bit of your live there on Facebook.
all
Was that
right.
Facebook or maybe
Nice.
Instagram?
When the last one, or yeah, I hope
Yeah,
it
wasn't that
wasn't the
yesterday?
last.
Was that yesterday?
Yeah,
Were
it
you live
was.
yesterday?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was live only briefly.
I remember hopping
Just a
on there. It was
second.
either yesterday or the day before.
This doesn't.
Might
All
have been
right. Just
Friday.
yeah.
Rasclat fight night scores.
Oh, sorry.
Oh
I
yeah, the
did.
fight night scores. Okay, yeah, and the fight night scores. I'll drop that in there. It's like at fight
Yeah,
night
actually,
scores.
it's Boss Madman. It's kind of my channel name. I mean, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
it is
yeah. So
the nickname that I used. The first one that I mean, yeah, it does in on a boxing website or message board. Like 10 years
yeah.
ago, I came up with that, that nickname. So yeah,
Yeah, we gotta keep it going. So I'm gonna be on fight night scores at 5. Actually, it's gonna be 5. That's what the time ends up being. So it'll
five
be
today or tomorrow.
today. 5 today. I know it'll be later there, but yeah, we're supposed to
Five. Oh
do.
yeah, that's like in here. It's yeah, it's like 11 o'clock or something. Yeah,
Yeah, we're
11.
supposed to do it. Well, we typically do it earlier, but needed to push it back a bit for this particular one. So 5 p.m. folks, you can
Nice.
drop by. Um,
Yeah, because then yeah you can talk as much as you like. When
yeah,
it's before our podcast, then it's a little problematic because sometimes it goes too long and then we don't get to start in time. But anyway, it's cool. It's not a big deal. I just
Yeah. So yeah, we typically try to go at 12 and be done by 2. I guess the fights will take an hour sometime, depending on if it's a 15 rounder, which it is in a lot of cases. But
it's
yeah, what
dark
else?
here already. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So I was looking on the upcoming schedule fights for the
Mhm.
next 30 days. Of course, Usyk Dubois is going to be a big win, but that's coming August 26th. Uh,
26.
so we have that. Then we're going to have Jalolov going to be making his. Well, no, it's
Wow.
not his debut. His top ranked debut is what it is going to be
Yeah, yeah. I
on the
think he
26th.
has a few fights already.
Yeah, he's 12-0.
He is
Uh,
really wow.
he's
Well,
going
I
against.
see. Thank you, Beagle. I got the message you subscribed to my channel. Thanks.
Oh yeah, cool. Oh, yeah, Alex says just subscribe, guys. Thanks for the link.
Thank
Fight
you,
Nation. Yeah,
Alex.
good to go. Appreciate you, Alex, and of course Beagle. Yeah, 2 p.m. Pacific Standard. Beagle.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've gotten over 500 subscribers now. Let's go for
oh
the
cool.
1,000 mark.
Yeah, you're on the way there. I gotta
Yeah,
tag it in a little thing. As a matter of fact,
it's not
uh,
it's not a big deal. Even if I don't get there, I am satisfied already. But why not?
you will
If
get
I
there.
can, yeah. 700 would be okay enough.
There's the link, folks. Boz
Yeah,
Madman.
I
So you see
talk
it there.
not just about boxing, but also a lot about boxing. Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, certainly.
Mm.
So yeah, it's a good thing. Good thing. Definitely worthy of checking out, folks. Some of the other ones as well. Boz is usually on there when we're scoring on Fight Night scores as well. If you check out
Mm.
fight-score.com, you can create a
I'm
scoring
there.
account.
I'm there always arguing with Alex.
Yeah,
Usually.
yeah. But yeah, it's all cool. So
Lately, we've started to kind of get along more better. Earlier, yeah, there was really some tension there.
you're on the same page, huh?
Yeah,
But
I mean, we don't see eye to eye really often when it comes to scoring fights. Not at all.
good stuff. Good stuff. Hey, I'm
But
seeing
of
here.
course, yeah, we do respect. I mean, each other. So.
Oh yeah, certainly. That's the way to go. Oh, hey, I'm seeing here Liam Smith and Chris Eubank Jr. are gonna rematch on September 2nd.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Chris Eubank Jr. is now with a new trainer. I forget who it was or who it is.
Well, this is gonna be interesting. Yeah, last time it was kind of a freak knockout. Let's say it
Yeah.
happened.
I don't
Yeah,
blame Roy Jones. I blame Eubank for getting caught.
yeah, he just got caught, and Liam, he's a very determined guy. I mean, Liam Smith,
Yeah.
and yeah,
Yeah, I
he's
don't think
kind of
many people
improved.
yeah,
Yeah,
I don't think there were many people thinking that Eubank was gonna be knocked out for sure.
yeah, and in 4 rounds also only.
Yeah, I think it was the other way around. We were saying that there was going to be a stoppage, and it was likely going to be
Yeah,
Eubank stopping Liam. But
yeah,
to show
exactly.
you,
I
but
mean,
Liam, he's been improving though. He's been on the improvement tip for a good little while now.
and I liked, when after that, Chris Senior, Eubank, his father, he wrote to Liam and congratulated him, and he said, "I've never seen my son even really shaken before."
Yeah,
So that's true. So that's why it was so bizarre that knockout that it should happen like that.
yeah, yeah. No, you're certainly right. And so yeah, they're going to do it again here on Friday. There's a fight. It's going to be TNT Sports. The British. It's a UK fight. Says
Who is
TNT
Eubank
Sports.
with now? I mean, who is his promoter and stuff?
You know,
Is
I
it
don't know. I thought he was still Matchroom, but maybe not.
Frank
Huh?
Warren? Well,
Oh no, he
maybe.
wasn't Matchroom because yeah, they were complaining when that
Yeah, I
being
think
fight was going to be
he
made.
was with Frank Warren, maybe, or I don't
Yeah, it
know.
might be Warren. So
Yeah.
this fight is going to be on Sky Sports box office. Looks like had to find a means to watch that.
Hmm.
Uh,
Nice.
interesting, interesting. And then what do I see here? real quick, just looking through what's coming up. We also, there's a fight on event on Friday. Two of them, it looks like. A lot of the fighters I don't know, maybe even three of them. Saturday the 19th, Yafai Frank. I think this is Galal Yafai. What are the younger, maybe the younger brother?
Oh yeah, fight. Yeah,
I like
yeah.
him. He looks pretty
Gamal.
good.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
he's
I
going
know.
to.
Carl was good, but then he lost. Who did he lose? Was he not knocked out or something?
Wasn't it? Was it Kiko Martinez? No,
Maybe. Or
no, maybe
no,
not Kiko.
not him.
Somebody did. Yeah, somebody.
Maybe that other guy, Kid Galahad. Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, Kiko. I think knocked out Galahad or one of them. But I feel
Yeah.
like Kai Yafai tried to come back last year and got knocked out by somebody in a fight
Let's see.
previously.
Gonna check it here. That's why we have these two. Well, come on, man.
Kai Yafai.
Sucks. Yeah, he was knocked out by Chocolatito
Oh
on
yeah,
that.
yeah, that is right.
Yeah,
So yeah, I was
yeah,
thinking about maybe I'm thinking about Galahad who tried to do that comeback. But yeah, he
yeah.
came back, fought in November. But yeah, it was Chocolatito who knocked him out.
Galahad is a damaged fighter already. I mean, I would say
Yeah, he
probably.
is.
Yeah,
Yeah, he is certainly. He certainly I think he's done it. So I think that's who I'm thinking of. Also, Maxie Hughes beat
oh,
um he beat Cal Yafai or Kid Galahad, and then
oh
that
yeah,
was right before that Kiko Martinez knocked him out.
yeah, right. Kiko. Yeah,
So there was
Kiko is a
someone else I'm
powerhouse,
thinking
really.
of. I've lost
Yeah,
track of whom, but there was someone else I was thinking of for sure. Uh,
Kiko is just when you
Rice
thought
Clark.
he was finished, he just
Yeah,
I mean,
Kiko's still hanging around there.
yeah,
Uh,
because he has
Rasclot
that
just up.
punch.
Appreciate you there, Rasclot. Appreciate you
Thanks,
subbing to the
man.
bars. Who you guys picking for Liam or Eubank? I'm gonna go with Liam Smith there, Alex, because
Mm,
I don't know that this trainer switch is going to be the answer for Eubank Jr. He had some momentum. I think that time and momentum has passed for the most part.
mm,
He's still good, but I like Liam Smith. I think coming to this
yeah,
last contest, I can't remember if I made an actual pick, but I thought that Liam Smith was going to make it a tough fight. It turns out
he was.
he got the job done for
He's
sure.
been really, really been on a roll, So lately, he scored
Appreciate your Rascal for sure.
one impressive victory after another, So
Yeah,
yeah,
certainly. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Liam Smith. Oh yeah, Rasclot
yeah, he
says Liam
stopped
Smith. So you
Jesse
might I have
Vargas.
Liam Smith winning.
That's right.
Yeah, the momentum's on
Yeah,
Liam
he
Smith's
stopped
side this time
Jesse.
around.
Hmm.
I think
I
I
was
think we
just
can
saying,
agree to
yeah.
that.
I was just saying I had forgotten that Smith stopped Jesse Vargas, actually, yeah.
Oh yeah, it is right. Jesse Vargas
Hmm.
trying to make that move up to 154.
Yeah, he was just
Didn't work
never,
out.
he looked so promising at first, but never really delivered, on that promise. So, yeah.
Yeah, he was pretty. He was solid, but certainly
Yeah,
yeah.
that
I
win
mean,
over Saddam Ali was the only really, I mean, true win. Yeah, I think really surprising also, I guess. He stopped the guy. I,
yeah,
I don't think anybody expected that to happen.
yeah. Took out Ali, Saddam Ali.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ali was at that time really looking good, before that. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, you're right. You're right.
Mm,
Alex says Roscoe, me too. KO inside 8. Hey, might happen
mm.
right there. I think Liam has his number for the time
Probably
being.
probably will go, yeah, a little longer than this time. should.
Yeah,
I hope.
Ratscott said Eubank Jr. is nothing like his father. Certainly,
Hmm.
certainly. Yeah, I like Eubank Sr. Some people don't like
Yeah,
him.
he
I like
was.
him. He's entertaining. He's very entertaining. I thought he was a very good boxer.
He could do it all. I mean, box, punch, very. I mean, chin really as hard as stone. Really, I mean, Ben also. Nigel Ben said that once. His chin is like stone. He says, "Oh man,
Oh
yeah."
yes, yeah, yeah. Eubank Jr. entertained a possible fight with Conor Ben was prosthetic. Yeah, I thought that that fight everything was seemingly in favor of Conor Ben, and when they say the A side, B side stuff, Eubank Jr. was coming in as a B side. So I had favored Conor Ben in that matchup only because it seems like everything was in favor of Conor Ben, especially with Eubank having to drop down to a certain weight, whatever it was at that particular time, a weight he
Yeah.
hadn't been at in years. And yeah, it
Hmm.
wasn't going to go well for him,
Conor
I don't
Ben,
believe.
yeah. That was just a very bad idea. I mean, it's disgraceful that they tried to make that fight. I mean, come on, a super middleweight fighting a welterweight.
Yeah, right, right.
Incredible. Yeah.
So yeah, they were gonna have Eubanks Jr. drop down. Yeah, it was gonna be crazy. So I think that it was gonna be I think it was a setup in the sense that it was gonna be hard to see Eubank coming out of there, whether that's via score or otherwise. So didn't happen though. And Eubank Senior, he was passionate about it as well. I know he
Yeah, he
wasn't for it.
was really. I mean, that was really. Of course, he was. He didn't want to see his son, get hurt, and kudos to him for speaking out. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, certainly, Rasclot says no one is articulate as Eubank Senior. Yeah, he is. He
Yeah.
is. It's funny.
In that particular, when he started like an Oxford professor
he
on
got.
that
He
particular night in question.
always has his sheriff badge on. What they call it, a little sheriff-looking badge.
uh, he
These
was
days, at least.
a very colorful persona, and his son doesn't really match him
Yeah,
there.
he
I
doesn't
don't
have the same personality. I guess he
Yeah,
took
he
on maybe the
tries.
mom's personality or something.
He tries. He likes to dress very, extravagantly, but he doesn't make that.
But yeah, he doesn't have that same personality,
Doesn't
without
have.
a doubt.
Yeah, doesn't
He
have that.
doesn't. Rasclot says, "Salute, guys. Gotta go. 100. Salute to you,
Salute, Mister
Rasclot.
Russ.
Appreciate you dropping by. Appreciate you dropping by. Matter of
Yeah.
fact, appreciate everyone dropping by. Alex as well, Beagle, etc. It's been a good one. Matter of fact, I think we've gone over pretty much all of this stuff. There's some other fights coming up as mentioned. So you got Luke Wilson, I believe his name is, or whatever, Liam Wilson, the Australian who lost to Navarrete. He's going to be back in
Yeah.
action.
Hmm.
And another Zoo is in action. Does Costa Zoo have a younger son?
Yeah, Nikita. His name
All
is
right, so
Nikita.
he's going to be in action this coming weekend as well. So it's an Australian card going down in Sydney. So I don't see where it's going to be shown, but maybe we'll find it out there somewhere. We're going to try
Hmm.
to check it out. And then, of course, August 26th is going to be Dubois looking to dethrone the current champion holding all belts except
Wow.
one,
Yeah.
Alexander Usyk.
Should
We
have
got to
had that
recognize
one
him
as
as the
well.
heavyweight champion, right?
Yeah.
He's the heavyweight champion. He's the one who's going to be competing against legit competition in boxing
Yeah,
right now.
Of course, yeah. I mean, Fury has really made himself, not the worthy of not being considered the number one heavyweight anymore, just because all those antics and not fighting anybody really relevant for like I don't know how long is it now, 2 3 years or something.
Yeah, I haven't even looked into this contest with Ngannou, so I don't really know much about it. Uh, and I think that's same sentiments as the majority of boxing fans. It's
Hmm.
like, why? It's like, okay, we don't understand.
Yeah, that's such a shame because I mean, Fury is probably the guy who can also who would be favored against both Usyk and Joshua. I mean, at his
Yeah.
best. But now I don't know. You don't know, because he's been fighting nobodies now and stuff like that. Who knows? Maybe his skills have gone down. You know, who knows? Yeah, he's
Who's
like
going to
already.
win the upcoming heavyweight championship bout
Oh yeah,
there,
he
Alex?
he had his birthday yesterday. He turned 35 actually. Fury.
Oh, yeah? Didn't know
Mm,
that. Who's
yeah,
going to win, Alex? But that's interesting. So Fury, so hey, maybe he just looking for the payday here, as I mentioned, or at least this crossover payday. I don't know how. I don't think it's gonna be big. Like I don't think it's gonna be like the Floyd Mayweather Conor McGregor situation.
not
Um,
yeah. I what I can say about it, one thing, Hergovich, if he fights Usyk, he will lose. I don't see him winning that fight. You saw him,
yeah,
last night.
certainly
I
right
mean,
now.
yeah, if he doesn't get himself together, get better. I mean, so yeah, he will not win. In any way, I don't give him much chance. Maybe a puncher's chance, but even that, Usyk can really take a good punch. So that's also gonna be hard
Yeah,
getting him out of there by for anybody. So yeah, I mean
yeah.
Jared Anderson, Jalalov, Mahmoudov, those guys are probably the future of the division.
Oh yeah,
So
certainly, certainly. I think Hergovich he needs to get another fight under his belt. Ideally,
yeah,
like December or something. If he could get another one this year, I think that would be good. Let me see, August. That's 4 months. I mean, he's got 4 months left, essentially a little over 4 months. Potential. I imagine it would probably be good to get him back in there sooner rather than later. But yeah, take the John Jalay fight, which he got the W, so got to give him props for that. But that being said, yeah, this one didn't look his best, but I think some of that could have been the layoff because he looked rather lethargic to a certain degree there. So I think that kind of played into it a bit as well. Uh,
yeah,
so I want to see him in there again and be a little fresher. He had a crazy last year. His father passed away, all that stuff. Had some
yeah,
good deal of time out. Had that tough fight with John Jalay. So I want to
yeah,
see
yeah.
him
I
get back
mean,
in there.
he's definitely quality fighter, but last night he didn't look good. Simple as that. And but I hope that's just because of the inactivity. But I hope it hasn't really ruined him because he's also kind of 33 or something now. I believe, yeah, something like that.
Oh, yeah, I think he's getting up there. Yeah, he was kind of on the fast track. Like a lot of kids
Yeah.
on the fast track for
So
sure.
he doesn't have that much time left before he is damaged goods.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we need to
spent.
see something.
Yeah,
Uh, Richard Sanchez, salute to you. Richard Sanchez says, "Thank you, 86. I learned something new about boxing every time I listen. Good stuff there, Richard. Hey, appreciate you, buddy. Thanks for dropping by, checking us out. As always, yeah, we enjoyed the
yeah,
history of the sport. First and foremost, that's one of the big things. Always definitely down to dive into those discussions. Richard says, Demered Martin Cast was one of your best. Hey, appreciate it there, Richard. Yeah, it was fun doing that. It was fun going about that one right there, Richard. Demered Martin, an underrated fighter there. Underrated fighter. You look at his resume and it certainly doesn't ring bells, I would say. But once you dive into his career and overall trajectory, very solid heavyweight there. Very crafty, clever, technical fighter, and he was getting a lot of praise for such during his time. So it was good just diving through that there, Richard, and getting an understanding of such. Folks, if you haven't checked it out, check out that Denver Ed Martin video. Denver Ed Martin, one of the great heavyweights during the time of Jeffries, Jack Johnson, of course, Sam McVeigh, others who are out there in the mix. So worthy of being checked out. So thank you there, Richard, for sure. Alex says the Kazakh by KO retains the title. So Alex has Usyk stopping Daniel Dubois. Possible. Possible.
also, yeah, I
He was
mean,
touching up Anthony Joshua.
It will take some time, but not before like eighth or ninth round, probably. Yeah.
Yeah. He was touching up Anthony Joshua when they fought both fights, really, even though Joshua had a better second fight. But
Mm.
that first fight, Joshua's right eye was pretty much almost closed. So he was landing some stuff, really
Yeah, a
tapping
guy
into
who
it.
is so talented can even pull out the right punch, even if he doesn't hit that hard, naturally. As I said, you saw how he knocked out Tony Bellew, for instance. Yeah. Yeah, Mr. James Bond.
Vaz holding it down over there. I'm with you, Richard. Ladies, where you at? To my ladies. Vaz holding it down. Got the shades on, just like the little artwork for the
Some
boxing
guy
shit.
told me I looked like Sly Stallone in Cobra, when I was wearing it on another stream.
Vaz, aka Sly.
Sly, yeah,
Let's get
hello.
it.
This is Sly, everybody.
That's funny.
What's up? What's up?
Indeed. There, Alex says, really enjoy your streams. 86 vibes like a family here. Thanks a ton. Hey, thank you, Alex. I always, certainly, it's always great having a dialogue, chatting. You oftentimes don't run across people in the, I say real world. I guess it is still real world, but you oftentimes don't run across people who know about the history of the sport, can talk it, all that good stuff.
By the way,
Boxing, it's kind of niche in
yeah,
some sense.
I really love his ethnic composition. I always had a fascination with Scotland and Scots, and Ukraine is like, yeah, kind of a brother country for me. So
Oh yeah, certainly.
yeah,
I need to visit there one of these days.
yeah,
Scotland, that is the great Scotland. I know
Scotland.
I
Yeah,
learned.
don't go to yeah, don't go to Ukraine right now. Anyway,
Oh yeah. No, certainly
yeah,
can't
it's
be.
sad thing. Yeah, well,
Certainly.
yeah.
I know there's a little thing where you can buy a little parcel of land in Scotland and be considered a lord. It's like a
Wow,
little
yeah. I think they call
square.
it the layered or something like
So
that.
you could have Lord Joshua, Lord Boss,
Hello,
Lord Boss the
Josh.
Knightman.
Gonna start talking like Scottish man, Scotty.
That would be funny. Lord Boss the Knightman. Thank you for tuning in, folks.
Just imagine trying to imagine Joshua in a kilt. You know what a kilt is, of course, right?
Oh
No.
yeah. Kill. Hey, yep. Kill. Hey, there's a Scottish parade. Matter of fact, that happens
Yeah.
here it's in Virginia in December of every year. I've been to it once. I'm gonna go to it this. I'm gonna try and go to it this next one coming up in December because we have an Airedale Terrier and they're a part of the parade. And so our little dog club, we usually go there and walk. We've done it when we didn't have a dog. We haven't done it since we had the Airedale, which is crazy, but we're gonna do it at some point
Yeah,
here this
those
year.
they have that. They call that the tattoo. That kind of military parade, military style. Anyway, with the
Yeah,
bagpipes. It's beautiful, really
yeah. So
beautiful.
some people are out there with kilts and they'll have the bad fights with things and all that good stuff. So it'll be cool. It's usually
Yeah.
cold, but maybe this year with the way the weather's going, it won't be cold. So interesting.
Yeah, cool. It would be cool. Yeah.
Richard says, I'm going to send you guys a couple fine cigars so we can have a boxing discussion with a great smoke. Let's do it, Richard. Let's do it.
I can pretend because to smoke because I don't really smoke. But if it's I don't know which kind of cigar. But anyway,
Yeah, we'll set something up, Richard. We can make it
yeah,
happen for sure. Prime time boxing discussion over a smoke, over a
yeah.
cigar.
Smoking streams seem to be really big in fashion, fashionable now.
We've got the
Becoming
smoking gun. We can call it
yeah,
the smoking gun. That'll be a good one to participate in there, Richard. But yeah, certainly appreciate you. Appreciate you dropping in here, buddy. We're gonna have to set that up for sure. Yeah, be sure to stick around, comment, all that good stuff. We'll have more coming. We'll have more discussions. Of course, we'll be back here next week with Boxing Chit again on Sunday. might be some discussions on some boxers here during the week as well. Certainly, we'll let everyone know. Oh man, link is the land. We'll make you lords of boxing history with super chat. Oh yeah. Certainly there, Beagle. That's good stuff. That is good stuff, for sure.
Well, we need to close down.
Yeah, Alex says my dad can speak Scottish Gaelic. I'm a bit ashamed in let the language slip, and I'm not as fluent. Okay, gotcha. There's less than 100,000
Yeah,
people speak it.
not
Okay,
many can speak it. I spoke to one Scot before once long ago. I mean, on a chat. He said he tried to learn and he gave up. That's how tough it was for him
oh
to
yeah,
learn. Yeah.
yeah. I tried to
Uh,
learn Russian once. It was tough too. It was very
yeah,
tough.
but yeah, this shucks.
But I
Yeah,
can
I
only
can.
imagine. Yeah, a lot of languages out there. I know about Gaelic football there, Alex. Gaelic football is a very interesting game there.
Mm,
My partner, she played for a little bit. It was cool. It was cool. I was gonna get out there and test my hands at it as well, but a lot of running involved. I gotta get ready for that. A lot of running involved in that. but
yeah, I only heard some Scottish slang before, but that's all. I'm not gonna repeat it now. But
oh yeah, probably not.
all right, yeah.
Beagle says, "Bye, Lord. Thanks as always. Thank you, Lord Beagle.
Bye
Lord Beagle,
bye.
the 47th. We thank
Yo,
you."
thanks, man. Thanks once again for
As
subscribers.
well as Alexander the Great Campbell and Richard Sanchez. But no, appreciate everyone dropping by. Of course, we'll be back in the mix here at some point. Thanks to everyone. Ross Flat Boxing came through. Joshua Woods, Rodolfo Rivera Jr. was in the building. Max Duran. Hey, got a good number of people who dropped by, share some love. So appreciate y'all. Bruce Gas was in here. Check everyone out. But yeah, we will be back, folks. And yeah, stay tuned is what I shall say. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Way to go out right there, Boz. Way to go out. Take care, everyone. Take care.